Hello, this is the 10 Eyes Podcast, a weekly show that talks about our love and our hate for all things media, hosted by me, Jack.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Andrew. Okay then, so just so everyone watching at home is aware, this broadcast will contain spoilers for all the media that we do talk about.
So, what did you guys have for breakfast this morning, guys?
Oh, breakfast, man! What a delicious meal of the day.
Love it.
I went out on adventurous. I went to the shop and I bought a ham and cheese baguette.
Ooh, what
Ooh.
shop?
Oh, it was just like the local corner shop. But
Fair enough.
I was like, I was in the shop already. I was buying stuff, buying drinks, do what I need for the day, and I was like, I really don't want to have a bacon sandwich today. That's normally what I have. I just thought, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna have a cheese and ham baguette, and it was kind of mid.
It was kind of mid?
It was kind of mid. Yeah, the bread consistency was not good. The cheese was so and so. The ham tastes like paper.
How about you, Andrew? What did you have?
I kind of had to rush mine because I slept in till quite late. I had 4 eggs and a little bit of ketchup with the eggs. I like them scrambled, and then I also had a protein bar as well.
Oh, okay.
An Oreo flavor.
Because in my head I was like, you just had 4 eggs. What you did? Like, what are you, Rocky? You just having 4 eggs like in the morning?
I need my protein, man. I need my protein.
When it comes to my breakfast, as these episodes will quickly show, I am what you can call an enigma, because I didn't have breakfast this morning. I just went straight in.
Okay, but what's your favorite meal of the day then? If you don't eat breakfast, you just like,
more
I'm
of
a dinner guy.
fan, yeah.
I just go straight to dinner. Maybe I do lunch, but that's optional.
You just have 1 meal a day.
He just photosynthesizes.
Pretty much. Yeah, photosynthesizes basically.
Do you have snacks?
Maybe.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm too much of a foodie eater.
I think, I feel like my structure for my meals has been kind of derailed recently, but I still make sure I get a breakfast, even if it is at midday.
As mentioned, you will learn how much of an enigma of a person I can be.
I mentioned Rocky because I know, Jack, that's one of your favorite films.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I did not know that was a common breakfast for like bodybuilders.
Yeah, very commn, because you got to rush through the breakfast, you just got to drink a couple eggs, and then it's time for workout, basically. Mm-hmm. You said a key word there that will segue us nice into our next topic. Guys, what is your favorite piece of media or movie?
I love 12 Angry Men. It is literally a courtroom drama that's not set in a courtroom. 12 jury members, they're anonymous names, they're just jury 1, jury 2, going up to 12, and they talk about this case of a young boy killing his father. Did he do it? Did he not? And when they were voting to be guilty or not guilty, one of them says, not guilty. And everyone goes, whoa, that's crazy. Why are they not guilty? And then they slowly convinces them that this might be wrong. The knife's off. The way he stabbed him was kind of weird. How could this bystander hear the noises? Things don't add up. He convinces the whole jury that it's not guilty. And then at the end, the main character, who we just learned the name of, and he just goes, I might have been wrong, but who knows? I think I convinced everyone. And you're just sat there going, this guy just convinced a whole room that this kid could not be guilty when it was so clearly that he was. And to me, that is my favorite movie. It's so simplistic in its...
Yeah,
I love dialogue.
I don't know. You won me over. I mean, I feel like checking it out, honestly. But my favorite movie is The Shawshank Redemption, which, brief synopsis, guy called Andy Dufresne, I believe that's his name, Andrew Dufresne, who gets convicted of a crime he did not commit and is sent to 15 life sentences or so, and about how he tackles prison life.
What does he get? Wait, what did he do, though?
He killed his wife. Supposedly.
Oh, supposedly. Okay, a bit of mystery there. Supposedly kills his wife.
Maybe he did, maybe he did not. And what about you, Andrew? What is your favorite movie?
My one's a comedy. I love Monty Python's The Life of Brian. Yeah, I think it's a stupid idea. Very controversial. I mean, both for its time and nowadays.
It was banned in Norway.
Yeah, but I just think, some of the jokes are like really well written. I love the feel. You can tell the film is like extremely low budget, but I don't think the film cares.
What is it like genuinely? What is it actually about?
Okay, so The Life of Brian is basically this man named Brian who's living in the same. His
name's Brian.
Yeah,
no way.
But he lives a life that sort of crosses the path of Jesus several times. Like he's in
parallel to Jesus,
or it's sort of like he's in the same place at the same time. I think Jesus, he was born in a manger, in a barn. If I'm correct, Brian was literally born in like the next barn over or something like that.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
some people the 3 wise men, they come over and they're like, oh, hey, this is the Messiah. And then they realize it's not the Messiah, and they have to like take their gifts back and give it to Jesus.
Wrong house.
Yeah, it's just there's a load of misunderstandings, and I know there's one joke in particular that's like really funny where they describe like, oh, what have the Romans done for us? And they talk about how
Wait, so
like,
this isn't this set like during the same time period?
yeah, this
as
is
Jesus
set, this is set
around?
in like the same time period as Jesus.
What? See, I, as a British person, I should have seen this movie, but I just hadn't. It's too goofy for a premise.
Have you
I
seen,
don't know.
Have you seen any Monty Python?
No, I've not seen any of it.
I would start with the King Arthur and the Holy Grail.
That is
That
so
a
let's say,
classic.
that
have
is
you seen that?
That is. I agree. That is a funny movie, but I feel like the Holy Grail goes a bit
Yeah,
beyond that.
I think me preferring The Life of Brian is absolutely a hot take.
Oh,
But
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I
Hmm.
I understand finding it funnier, but to me, it's the fact that in the Holy Grail, like specifically, they break the fourth wall so
yeah.
many times. They have these jokes that are just really good, and they just have like these skits that just work. I don't know. I mean, the Lancelot skit.
Oh,
I don't know if
yeah.
anyone's seen the Lancelot skit where he just keeps running and
Yeah, oh,
running and
yeah.
running, and then suddenly he's there. It's just works for me.
because is it like based off like a sketch itself,
or
or is it just a movie?
No, it's a movie.
Okay.
Like
'Cause
both of them, they sort of take like, well, I mean, King Arthur. I don't believe it's historical. Like it's more so like myth. But like they take that sort of concept and they make just some dumb comedy with it.
Oh, okay. So they just make the absolute spoof out of it.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's
okay.
Monty Python theory. They
That
make- they
is-
take-
yeah, no, that is
they take-
vintage
They're
Monty
just
Python.
as the non-British person, but also want to say a British slang here. They're just absolutely taking the piss here.
Oh, I love
Absolutely.
British slang. Yeah, that's a good segue. So you're from Norway,
Yeah.
whereas I'm British raised, lived here my whole life. God, it rains all the time here.
I've noticed.
Yeah, you've noticed. Does it compare to Norway?
I honestly prefer the rain because in Norway it just snows. That is all that
Oh,
happens.
but I love snow. It barely gets here.
You say that.
You don't get much in the south. You don't get much in the
Yeah.
south.
You say that it snows, but no, you haven't felt
No, I'm saying
snow.
it doesn't snow. That's why I wish it snowed.
No, you're saying that you
You
want
know,
it. You're saying
yeah,
that
I
you want
want
the
it.
snow, but then you get to Norway and you have to wake up 7, maybe 6 in the morning and like shovel the snow out of your driveway,
Yeah.
get the car out, and then when you come back home, all that work you did for like maybe 2 hours
I
is
can see
gone.
that.
Worth it. That one scene in
you know,
the Cat in the Hat.
Because I'm just thinking like it's sort of a cultural difference because we don't get much snow down here. We think like, oh yeah, every snow day is
Every snow day is
that's an
great.
exception, you know. It's like an event, snowball fights, make a snowman, snow angels, and all that. But in Norway, where it's snowing all the time, it's just like, oh, this is just the normal.
Just another
you know?
day. Yeah.
Like, why would
yeah.
I? Why would
It
I
makes the fun of it. It's like
snowball
when
fight?
you have Christmas every day. Like every
Yeah.
kid I know has been like, "Yeah, I want Christmas tree every day," and then you're just sat there like, "Dude, it was just so boring."
Just
2
like
weeks in.
the Disney short where Louie and Dewey and Huey, they get Christmas every single day and they learn to realize that things need to be special. Kind of like that situation.
It's like that's why when people go like, "Oh, during like October I do Christmas stuff," I'm like, "What?"
What about Halloween?
Oh, I love Halloween.
I've had a
We're about to have
couple.
a
Like
war on
I've
this
had
table.
I've had some funny Halloween stories.
I mean, like,
but I was
Halloween
never
films.
much. I was never really huge into it. I never did much like trick or treating. I only did it once I was like year 7, I think. I only did like 2 years of trick or treating, and then like it was
Only
just,
2
like,
years?
Only 2 years.
2?
Because there's like so many good Halloween things. There's obviously the Halloween movies out there.
Yeah.
I think they're better than Christmas movies. There's so many Christmas movie stinkers, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
Halloween movies.
I think there's definitely some
They're
good
good.
Christmas movies.
Very
It is
true, but-
October. We are sticking to Spooky Month. I will not.
Spooky
I will
month.
not accept any Christmas celebrations until 1st of December. Maybe
that's-
November.
No, I
That
fully agree
is-
with you.
yeah.
Okay, but then favorite Halloween movies or Halloween media? 'Cause there's some
Ooh,
good-
like
there's some good-
horror? Am I
Yeah,
talking
horror.
horror?
You can go.
Yeah,
There's some good
I
Family
think-
Guy horror
I was
ones.
thinking, yeah, my one isn't necessarily Halloween, but Coraline.
Oh,
I love
Oh,
Coraline.
Coraline,
Oh.
the producer over there, just did a based face.
Yeah.
Coraline,
Thank you,
please
producer.
tell me
Thank
why
you,
you love
producer.
Coraline.
I think it's just such a cool story. It's self-contained, but it leaves so many like questions. Like there's so many conspiracy theories. Is the other mother like still alive? And like things like that. It's one of those open-ended stories, and it just like
I don't know.
you
if
want to
they're
know.
I don't
and, like,
know. I love animation. I love that kind of
Yeah, no,
animation.
it's the animation is so good.
But
so good.
I think animation works so well with horror. And horror and Halloween-esque things, they go so together because the limitations of real-life horror, you can only get you so far
Yeah.
Yeah.
with horror films and stuff. But with animation like Coraline, it's freaky. Someone
Yeah,
came up with that.
absolutely.
Someone drew that. Someone did claymation for it. Freaky, deaky.
We watched my favorite horror movie yesterday,
Oh.
and Mine is Hereditary because, simply said, if a horror movie can make me scared, you've done something right. And I love to be freaked out. I love getting scared and stuff like that. So yeah, I absolutely adore it. Absolutely love Hereditary. I love all the, just all of like the hints, the foreshadowing, and how they do the horror, which is not necessarily that it's something in the foreground. The horror is in the background. You don't necessarily notice it. And so a lot of people will go and say Hereditary is a very mid-horror movie, but then...
Okay, yeah, I thought that.
But
Andrew,
then,
have you seen Hereditary?
No, I have not.
Okay,
But
'cause
I-
I don't want to spoil anything. Cause
yeah, no, spoiler
Oh.
free as we can make it. We were watching it yesterday with Sam, and then Sam was just like nonchalantly watching, and I'm just like, "Who's that over there?"
Oh
and then
my
he,
God,
and then he
every
looked
2
over, and
moments.
he was in fear. I love that.
just when I first watched it, I watched it during lockdown, and I was watching it with kind of people online. So I just kind of passively put it on the background. It wasn't that scary to me. But then when I watched it in person with you yesterday, I was freaking. I could not get behind it. The grandma and everything. Oh my God, goosebumps. That one shot when it goes to night,
Oh,
and you can see all the people. Oh, oh man, I literally turn into like Wallace.
I feel
Little
like
hands
I
up.
feel like I freaked you out because something creepy would happen. Everyone would like be like creeped out, and I would just giggle. I would just
Yeah,
like,
you'd giggle. You'd be a part of the skit. You'd be part of the the pitch for it. You'd be like, yeah, let's just laugh in front of them. Just laugh in front of the audience members.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
He's just twisted, man.
He's a twisted man,
Twisted
and like
man.
my
Absolutely.
favorite horror movie is Get Out because of that twisted
Oh,
nature.
yeah.
The subtlety and the story direction. Like it's Jordan Peele's first movie, and he just does a knockout role.
Absolutely. Get Out is crazy.
Daniel Kaluuya is so good as Chris.
You've seen Get Out?
I've not seen it, but I know. Like,
Okay, you
Yeah.
know.
most of it.
Can I spoil it for you?
Yeah, feel free. I read through Wikipedia.
Oh, you read the Wikipedia. It's quite a statement on racism and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But Chris goes to this white people's home, and he just doesn't fit in there because all of them are they're quite like subtly passive aggressive with him. And the ending is this family has been swapping brains into new people because they're becoming old, they're becoming frail. So the grandma and the granddad of this organization get put into new bodies, and throughout the entire time you realize that you've been with them. There's subtle lines and cues. So one of the lines is that my grandmother was always in this kitchen with me because one of the maids is the grandma. It's the grandma's mind in a new body, and it's freaky. It's one of those films where you can watch twice.
And
Oh,
it gets
yeah.
for me,
Like Hereditary, you
gets,
watch it once, you watch it again, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's worse.
For me, Get Out is worse on the second watch. And then this goes to people who've seen it. But when you have all the friends of the family coming over for that like party,
Yeah.
and they're all looking at Chris, and they're all just checking him out, like, how's your gold swing? Can you show us how your forearm
they
and your
ask him
body
so
is
many
like?
questions.
It's like, why are these questions there? But when you know where it's going, it's worse. And it's just freaky because like they're eyeing him like kids in a kid's store, basically.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's
Going a little bit off topic, I love the way horror is used within TV shows.
absolutely.
Like the way they're saying they kind of do the recent Treehouse of Horror episode where they do the Death Note, the
Oh,
Simpsons.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, they
Oh,
did
yeah,
The
that.
Simpsons Death Note.
Yeah,
Oh,
they-
that was so good.
Yeah, they changed the animation
Then
style.
they changed
and
it to
everything.
and the way they kind of subvert the expectations, where it's like Lisa killing all the rich people and the bad people. It was such a good Treehouse of Horror.
Oh yeah. Are you big on The Simpsons?
I'm big on the Simpsons.
I've been watching a lot of Simpsons.
Okay, yeah. Are we all big on the Simpsons, Jack?
No,
You do?
no,
Oh.
I'm big into Futurama. His
Oh,
his
okay.
other project. I'm
Okay.
very big into Futurama.
Oh, that's fair. Do you have a favorite Simpsons episode?
My favorite episode. Ooh, that's a good one.
It can
that's a
be
good
like top 5 episodes. 'cause for
yeah,
me-
like the first one that came to mind. I don't know necessarily if it's my favorite. The Barbershop Quartet.
Oh, come on,
episode.
that's good.
That's a very good one.
You might have to explain that to Jack.
Okay, yeah.
is
So
confused.
basically, it's an episode. It's sort of like a dig on like the music industry at the time. So Homer, Apu, Principal Skinner, and initially Chief Wiggum get into a band,
Wiggum.
Barbershop Quartet, and they're singing, they're doing gigs, and then they have to kick Wiggum out because they get like signed onto a deal, and then they replace him with Barney, who's got like a better voice.
Isn't Barney the bus driver? No,
No,
Barney's
Barney.
the drunk guy.
Barney is the drunk,
But he doesn't
like,
drink
who
anymore.
burps. Does he not?
No, he doesn't drink anymore.
I
It's a new
haven't
thing.
seen more modern.
Speaking of like segueing into like, you guys like Simpsons. I like Futurama more. Like, we've talked about movies, but another thing we should probably get into is like, what is our favorite form of media? Is it movies? Is it TV shows? Is it video games, for example? Because I think
Yes.
you, Andrew,
Ooh,
just mentioned that
I'm-
you're actually more of a video game guy.
I think I'm a bit more of a video game guy, particularly
gamer?
Nintendo.
Oh, is that your favorite Nintendo?
I
Of the
love
big three?
Nintendo. I've always been a Nintendo guy. Animation is up there, you know. I love me some anime, but I'd say video games is like, you know, like tried and true. Like that's like the closest to my heart.
What's your favorite Nintendo game?
My favorite Nintendo game is my favorite game of all time, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
I recently started playing that with my mate Max. I understand it. I understand
Yes,
it.
you
it's
understand the
such
hype.
a good
It's
game.
so good.
It is.
I know it's a hot take. I prefer it over Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh
I've
no, that's
played
fair.
both.
That's fair. I feel like enough time has passed.
I think I always preferred Breath of the Wild. I just think like it's such a fun game to just dive in again and again. I've got hundreds of hours on it. You know, I've learned some of the glitches. You know, I've done like this, that, the other. Like I've done basically all there is to do besides like actually 100% the game.
Oh, that's fair. I think for me personally, when it comes to games, I grew up with going switch back and forth between Xbox and Nintendo and PlayStation. I love the Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, no, I had an Xbox 360.
Xbox 360,
yeah.
all of us.
PlayStation.
Oh, this guy. Xbox 360 was
That was a good
it
era, yeah.
and the same with kind of. I didn't stop playing Nintendo till the Switch.
Ah,
I didn't have a Wii.
yeah.
You didn't have a Wii?
I didn't have a Wii. See, that's what I mean. I didn't have a Wii. I had a DS, obviously. Everyone had a DS, but I never played it as much as my Xbox.
Call me crazy, but like in Norway, it was the biggest craze.
Yeah,
like
no, that was-
if you were in a family home, there needed to be a Wii. Was like the comment
Oh yeah, at the
Yeah.
time that was everywhere.
everywhere.
I don't know. I think my family were just like, we don't have enough room. You're gonna have an Xbox. You play Minecraft.
Oh,
Like,
fair
that.
enough.
Oh yeah, fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Xbox 360 Minecraft goes hard. I associate it more with Battle Block Theater. If any
Oh,
of you guys have ever
oh,
played
Battle
that.
Block
come on,
Theater.
yeah, let's
That's-
go.
yeah, no,
That's
that's-
such a good
that's
game.
one of my
so
favorite
underrated.
indie
I
games.
love that studio so much.
Yeah, Behemoth.
Hattie. Yeah.
Incredible.
When it comes to like favorite games for me, because I also play video games, but my favorite like video game genre and just favorite video game is probably Bloodborne and the Souls
Yeah.
games. I adore those
They infuriate
games.
me.
I've
They
heard
infuriate
you
me.
talk about Soulsborne so much.
Oh, you're
No,
gonna hear
never.
it a lot more. Don't
Never,
you worry.
yeah. You'll hear so much.
What's your favorite Soulsborne like out of all of them?
Bloodborne is probably like the one. I have it tattooed on my arm.
Okay, yeah.
Pulling a bit of a Jacksepticeye, I know, but
Oh,
I
can't get much.
adore Bloodborne. I love the cosmic horror. I love the way the combat works, and I love just how you feel powerless in the beginning, but you build yourself up kind of. But at the same time, even the more you build yourself up, you can never beat these cosmic beings because you're an end to them. It's just I'm always creeped out, but I'm also on the edge, but I also feel powerful at the same time.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah, that's
story
fair.
is really cool, and if not for Bloodborne, I would honestly, I would say Dark Souls 1 has slowly
The remaster or just the
the
original?
remaster, obviously,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I was
But
gonna
Dark
say.
Souls 1 has become my second favorite, and then at third place probably Elden Ring, honestly.
I don't have enough patience.
Yeah,
Souls
I
games.
mean, I've always been a Nintendo guy, so like, I've always been a little bit behind.
Yeah.
No, what do you think of Ghost of Tsushima?
Dude, I played Ghost of Tsushima on a whim. It
okay.
came out and I pre-ordered it like a couple hours before it went live.
Okay,
So I got some
goddamn.
bonuses, but I have so many funny stories from Ghost of Tsushima. It was like the second mission or something, and there was like this tower,
Okay.
and I don't know what I did. These guys, the enemies, they climb into it, and all of them climbed into this enclosed space. And they threw a firebomb, which trapped them all in there. So while I'm jumping off of a rooftop, I'm just hearing screams of agony, and I just see it's all on fire, and I was like, what the hell did I do?
You did nothing.
And it was generally a pretty glitchy experience because I played it like on launch and then the first week was out and then beat it in that time. I literally had the thing of I'd go to a place, open a chest with like, upgrade materials,
Yeah.
reload my save, and I could just keep on exploiting that. I'm
freaks me out.
in my group, my friend group, I'm often referred to as the rat because I always look for cheeses, I look for exploits, I look for glitches to
Is there actual cheese in the game?
many, and like
Oh,
there's
it's just genuine
yeah.
cheese.
there is
Oh.
literally like bosses. You can just sit on the side and then you just shoot arrows at them and then just wait outside and then the boss just dies.
That's actually insane. So would you say that's your also favorite form of media? Games?
Yeah,
Andrew?
I mean, I don't want to say that games is my favorite form of media because to me it has to be probably TV shows. I've always
Yeah.
enjoyed like
Mm,
getting into a TV show, seeing how it like progresses and stuff like that. And then I feel I kind of got a little bit bored of it after a while. Like I watched like the shows like Daredevil, and that was the peak of like
Oh, such a good
like
show.
that. And that was like the peak of like
Okay.
watching TV shows. Kind of got a little bit bored of it, and then got into like anime for the first time in 2020, I believe.
Oh,
And-
you were a 2020
Yeah,
anime fan.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I got into anime. I'm like, oh, this is kind of like a new spin. This is cool. And then I got back into like liking TV shows again.
Oh yeah.
I'm not big into anime. For me, I just adore movies.
Movies.
The fact you have to put them with a TV show. You can spend your time kind of getting them involved, kind of getting the characters going. With a movie, you have such a limited time limit to make people care. And when you do it right, it just goes so well.
Yeah,
I just love
absolutely.
movies and animation genre is just perfect.
What's your favorite genre of movies, guys? We've been talking about
Animation.
movies. We've been talking about, like the mediums. What's your favorite genre? Like, let's just stick to movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
But-
Okay. Jack, do you want to go first? Because I've already got my answer.
I don't think
already
you'll.
said
I
it.
don't think. I think you'll be really surprised by this one. But my favorite genre is horror. But
mean,
I really like
yes.
horror.
Yeah, Halloween, horror. Come on.
I've never been much of a horror guy. It's not necessarily that I'm like turned off by it. I've just never been good with jump scares.
Just not a fan?
Yeah,
Pissy
I just don't like jump scares. I want to punch the screen anytime I
You
feel
wanna
one coming
punch
on.
the screen?
No, I'm like fight or flight. I feel like I'm just like nah. I'm not going out this way. I'm gonna like start boxing or
Gonna
something.
start
Yeah, so,
fight.
Like to a jump scare, I hate more than the jump scare itself.
Okay, that's
Like I
fair.
think I
Suspension's
worked
great.
myself up too much.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm like opposite.
Yeah.
I love animation. I love kind of like
Animation.
coming of age movies. I think this is so
Ooh,
great.
Coming of age.
Yeah, it's such a little niche genre. I feel like there's a lot of good ones, but I love animation because it exceeds how live action can be. It's
Yeah.
just great.
No. So like, you gave me just this visual in my head, Andrew, that you're like watching a horror movie at the cinema, and this little girl comes up to you and just punch it.
Harassing them. That'd
It's
be-
just like, do you know where the bathroom?
no. Oh, that's so mean.
Come play with us. No.
You'll watch Smile and someone will start smiling at you and just like, I'm done actually.
Your
No,
girlfriend,
no,
your girlfriend starts smiling at you out of love, and you just
Yeah,
punch
no,
her.
no.
Girlfriend.
Oh no, we're not doing
We're
it.
not getting into that.
That's off topic. That's off topic. We don't want to talk about.
Ah,
that
fair
right
enough,
now.
fair enough, fair enough. Man, it
Andrew,
is.
wait, hold on,
it's
hold on.
absolutely-
I didn't mean to cut you off, but Andrew, you
fine.
didn't say your favorite genre.
My favorite genre,
shit.
comedy, I think, is up there for sure. Action, I love a good action.
You love like an action, but what kind of action though?
Marvel, like I like the Bond movies, and I mean, like if we're broadening out, like I think particularly like going into anime, like just briefly, shonen and seinen action, like I love a bit of that. I just think through like such like harsh sort of like environments, through people fighting, you can tell such deep stories, which like I think it's fun because you can sort of watch once and be like, oh damn, this is just a sick fight, and then you can watch a second time just to be like on a deeper level, these ideologies clashing, who's right, who's wrong, is anyone right actually?
I like that. I like that. So would you say that's just your favorite thing? Would you recommend any animes like that to people?
Would I recommend any anime?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you talk about how such ideologies. Would you push
okay,
that?
this is an interesting one.
Are we getting into animes right now?
We can get into like
No, I just want to
animes
know what you recommend.
or, like-
No, fair
'cause
enough.
I
I
think
don't
as
watch
a
anime.
recommendation, my issue is this is like it's only got 2 seasons, so it's
Okay.
more so than the manga.
I don't want
One
a
Punch
10-season
Man.
show. Okay.
It's season 1 is just a blast of fun. It's funny. There's plenty of action. Like balls to the walls. These dudes like punching each other through spaceships and shit.
What the?
Yeah, like, that's
I
at the
don't-
end
I
of
don't
the
watch
show-
anime,
of season
man.
1.
I don't watch anime. One
But
Punch Man sounds good.
yeah, then season 2 they start like they introduce. I'm not gonna say the main villain, but the main villain of that arc, Garo.
Okay.
And I think
Yeah.
the way his ideology clashes with like the other like heroes, I just think is so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have an interesting question for you guys because we've talked about our favorite stuff. We talked about what we like. What is something maybe we like but we wouldn't recommend?
Ooh. Oh, that's a question. What would I not
Yeah,
recommend
like,
to people?
let-
Because
let-
for me, I would not recommend anime. I don't watch anime, so I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't be like,
Yeah,
oh, I actually watch this.
but,
My
like,
Hero Academia.
I feel
I've
like
heard
you've
is
got
awful.
I feel like you've got to like understand anime before you recommend it. though.
absolutely.
Oh, I've got to be
Like,
in the
you got to be in the you sort of got to be in the know.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, like me personally, I don't think I would recommend much of Star Wars, to be honest.
Really?
Mm.
Because I was
I
going to
think-
say I don't recommend Marvel.
Oh,
But
okay.
Please go on about Star Wars. I
Like
wanna
Star
see-
Wars, I just think it's such a legendary storyline, but I think there are so many points where they just fumble.
Oh, absolutely.
that's
Like I think particularly,
absolutely.
I think I'm gonna mainly talk about the sequels here because I think they are the most egregious examples.
Yep.
This is a hot take. I liked Episode 7.
No,
me
I
too,
liked
me
episode
too.
Yeah,
7
I liked
too.
Episode
Yeah.
7. My hot take is that it's better than Episode 4 in my eyes, but that's
Whoa,
very
we'll get
spicy.
into that.
But we'll get into
Whoa.
that.
episode.
Yeah, we'll
Hold
do a
on,
Star
hold
Wars
on, hold on,
episode.
yeah.
Comments, please be nice to him.
Oh,
But then, like, I think my issue is I particularly liked Finn, John Boyega's character. character.
Sidelined.
In episode 8, everything they build up with him completely torn down. Everything they build up with Rey and the mystery behind her character torn down. Who is Snoke torn down. And then like by episode 9, there's nothing left. So what do? They just have to bring back Palpatine because
you just wouldn't recommend Star Wars to people.
I think mainly like episode 8 and 9. You go on to Marvel. Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel to me is so great, but there's so much to watch that you just not for most people. It's just not for most people. I don't want to see a superhero flick every two, like, because you watch so many to catch up with the current films and current TV shows. It's like, oh my god, this is so daunting. I don't want to see another hero go through this hero's journey. You know what I mean? But Jack, what about you?
So this may be a bit like surprising, but even though I, as a horror fan, I wouldn't recommend a lot of horror films. I wouldn't recommend horror movies in general. Unless you're interested in horror, I wouldn't recommend it because there is such a like hit or miss part of horror movies, because you got things like Halloween, like that like the good old slasher that works, but at the same time you have people that'll be like, okay, so I recommended this horror movie, it's called Terrifier, and it's just a glorified gore fest but just die in very over the top brutal ways. And it is just, and the fact that they are making now reportedly 4 of them, and it's just teens that die to die. There's nothing to it, and it kind of like makes the horror genre seem like kind of over the top. And I'm like, but there's more beauty in horror, and there's like
there's more to it.
There's a lot more to it.
I've seen the advertising, and it looks like, why don't you just avoid him?
Yes,
isn't that the third? Is it the third one that's just come out?
The third one as well.
Yeah, it's just come out.
Yeah. If we go to the horror movies, like another one I like that I watched recently called The Substance is something I cannot for the life of me recommend to anyone. For anyone that's seen it, like I know there's the people out there who have seen Substance. You get what I mean when I'm about to say this. I went directly up to my partner and I said, "You are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen."
See, I haven't seen it, so for me, this is like out of left field.
Yeah.
I know what it's about, but it just
I don't know anything about The Substance.
That's the beauty of horror movies to me, because like The Substance, I watch it and I'm just like, oh man, I need to, we need to properly like. There's something that changes in you. Like
you need to deconstruct
that's
it.
the beauty of horror for me. It's like you just feel so much with it, in my opinion. And then. I won't get too much into The Substance, but it is a movie that I genuinely went from being scared of, laughing out loud, and then back to being scared of.
Okay, Jesus. So no recommendations from Jack.
No,
there.
I do not.
No way in hell.
If you watch it, I'd love to talk about it with you.
Yeah.
If you don't, I completely understand it because I wouldn't recommend it. But what is up, Andrew?
Yeah. I was just gonna add, like I've got very limited horror knowledge. Like I don't watch much. From what I've seen, they always make the dumbest decisions, and you're just left like frustrated. Like, why would you go back there?
Oh, it's
like,
the point.
Like,
it's the
yeah,
point.
I know it's the point, but it's still like that doesn't mean it doesn't piss me off. Like anytime I watch one.
I don't even know how to say it, but I read also horror stories. There's this beautiful thing on YouTube called Creepcast, but in it they covered a story that's called "The Thing in My Basement is Getting Better at Mimicking People," and I was
creepy.
like, that thing sounds creepy. This is also the story where the main character literally goes, "So you're a monster hunter, huh?"
Oh my god!
And it just gets so bad. And then this is a 12-year-old kid with a 40-year-old man like monster hunter, and at the middle of it, it's just like it's turned into super predator, one that cannot be stopped. And then the kid responds, and let me guess, you can't let that happen.
Oh, I hate when people are so wrong.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen. But I'm like, that's what happens in horror. You get like people that writing it, and they're like, we have this really cool concept, and then they fumble so hard with the trope you mentioned.
You reminded me of the, in like Scooby-Doo, for example. Velma, she loses. Like, where's my glasses?
One that I am sick to death in seeing in horror movies is the slip. I despise when that happens.
Over. They always slip
and
over.
also the way they slip. I'm like, okay, if it makes sense, I will not go too hard at it.
Like a banana's on the floor.
But like that, or like other things like that. But there's like other ones where horror movies will make fun of tropes. There's a mom who like kids and whatever, and then she puts like a toy car and it's like Chekhov's gun. That toy car will come back, and then she slips on it. I'm like, that you set it up.
Yeah.
But like other times they're just running and then just. I'm like, what did you slip on?
Over air for real.
For real, absolutely.
Comedy horror is one of like the best and worst genres, because I think there's such a fine line to it being like, just really jarring and a genuinely like funny commentary on the horror like genre as a whole.
Perfect example, Shaun of the Dead.
Exactly.
It's a zombie rom-com. Like
Yeah.
it's so good.
Oh yeah, and I guess like elements of Hot Fuzz as well. Like,
Oh yeah, it's a zombie flick that takes itself so lightly, and there's just no seriousness.
Yeah.
cinematography and
The
everything.
cinematography,
like,
Edgar Wright is the director.
Yeah,
in general.
it's an insanely good film.
I think we should save the horror talk for our later Halloween specials and
Oh,
our
yeah.
other
absolutely.
later horror specials. I do know I have a Hereditary and Shining special ideas and plan. I hope people will come around and stick around for that because juicy conspiracy theories about The Shining. I'd love to go on
What
about that.
a wild
What
movie.
a wild movie and wild theorizing about that.
You guys are gonna have to show me The Shining.
Oh, yeah, we'll watch
no,
it.
just so
we'll
we
do
can
that.
talk
We'll
about
watch it
that.
together.
Yeah.
We'll watch it together, then we'll rewatch it again, and then we'll talk about
No,
it.
no.
Because you need to watch it twice. That's
We
just
need,
how it is.
no, and then I need to tell you how the guy who made it faked the moon landing.
Okay, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. We'll
later.
get into that
A little hint, a little
Yes.
teaser,
You're about to get told off.
if you will, a little teaser of what's coming up later. It's
Okay.
gonna be insane and wild. I think we briefly not even thought about, guys, is that I'm a Norwegian, you two guys are British. How did we even meet? Where even are we, guys?
I'm not British.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm
gonna-
we're not gonna get into
as-
that can of worms.
Okay, as the British person here, I'm gonna tell it because I was the one who's on this island. Both you came from other places to here to go to university, and we all met for the same course. I met Jack first, as Jack is much more friendly than I am. Jack will
What
go
do you
up to-
mean?
Okay, I'll put this in a nice little bow. Jack will talk to anyone.
Yes.
Like everyone agrees.
I can see that.
So when
Literally
you,
talking to the whole internet right now.
I know.
Yeah, I
it's
think
crazy.
Jack came up to me first as well.
And like the reason why it's so special that Jack came up to me is because the reason why I took this course is to really find myself an opportunity, really find my way outside of my little bubble. Because back home where I'm from, I did not have the bestest of friends who are on the same wavelength with me. They really tried to. They just weren't my cup of tea. They weren't
Yeah,
my
I get
friends,
that
you
for
know?
sure.
To put it, so I don't know about you guys. I don't know why you guys took this course, but I took it to really find people that speak the same language as me.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy because I know there's some listeners out there, and I'm just gonna say this. I am, international. I came from Norway, and I went internationally to the UK to the media course down here in Brighton and meeting up with Sam and Andrew, really to take a chance. Because back home, I felt like it was just a safely knit little community, and you weren't really allowed to really go outside that. You were stuck as I don't know if you guys have that, but in my town, I was like washing up in like kitchens and stuff, and I'm like, but I want to do movies. I want to go out there, But
Yeah,
everybody's
you wanna
like,
do something
but
more.
everybody asking about like, what about debt that you'll have? What about all these things that could go wrong? And I'm like, who cares about what could go wrong right now? You got to just take a chance. And so that's why I came to this course. I wanted to take a chance, go out there, really explore my passion.
Yeah.
And then I met Sam and Andrew, and it's been a wild ride ever since.
We met for the course. Because Andrew, I don't know about you.
I know I met you through the course. I actually met Jack mainly, or like I knew about Jack, but
Yeah, everyone
we
knows about
mainly
Jack.
met.
Everyone knows about Jack. I want to
We
know
mainly
specifically
met through
how.
the Anime Society.
I'm
Oh,
everywhere.
okay, yeah, because you guys are anime people. so
Yeah,
that's
because
why I'm not.
we both met through the Anime Society. I remember we did like one project together. It was some very brain rotted, stupid idea.
Was it like a- was it
And
let's
we
not get
just-
into
Yeah,
it.
we're
Let's
not
not
gonna get
get
into
into-
what it was,
No.
but
Is
it
that
was just
PowerPoint?
some dumb like
Okay,
fun,
okay.
and we were just like, oh hey, we sort of clicked. I mean, being from Guernsey is like I resonate with what you said, Jack. And I sort of resonated with what you said, Sam, as well. It's a small community. There's only 60,000 people, and I had a couple friends. I had like my guys, but lots of the time it was like we had similar senses of humor or something. But I only had a couple of those really deep connections.
Yeah, it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
I feel like you're kind of putting way
Yeah,
too much effort
so
just
like
for the simplest of
in a
conversations.
similar way, I was like, okay, I'll go to Brighton, I'll go study media and just see if I can find my people on my wavelength, go out there, make a name for myself, and meet, get that sort of real life.
Get those people that you love.
Yeah.
Like Gambit, basically. I want to make a name for myself.
Oh no! Oh god!
Yeah.
I love Gambit. You should dress up as Gambit for Halloween.
Oh yeah, I actually think that would be cool.
I'm dressing as a banana.
What? A banana?
That's the same costume as I went last year, and
Oh,
people love it. Well,
banana?
it's also cheap.
Okay, yeah, stepping on that
But,
banana for real.
Yeah, well, I was pissed because basically I went on a pub crawl, and the first pubs we went to were pretty dead. there weren't many people there. And then we get into the city centre, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's a fucking banana!" Someone like outright yelled to me like, "Peanut butter jelly time!"
Peanut butter jelly
And
time.
I was just like, "Nah, this is great. Why didn't we start here?"
Just to bring it a little bit back, I felt like we truly started to connecting last year when we got put on the same group project.
Oh yes,
definitely.
And then we can say whatever we want about each other and how whatever we do, what happens. But it hasn't happened so far in this episode. I'm really happy it didn't because I don't know. It just gives the people a chance to get to know us before we go absolutely off the rails.
Okay.
Because trust me, people, we will absolutely go bananas. No pun intended. Maybe a little.
What's the pun?
You talked about bananas earlier.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God,
You linked
this
it back.
guy.
I wasn't thinking about
This
that.
guy-
You will hear us be absolutely brain rot. I will just say that. But this we've locked in for this one, fellas. That's all I'm saying.
Which we will do every week. Thank you for listening.
Producing.
I'm glad you guys had a nice time with me today.
Yeah,
same here.
I'm glad you guys had a nice time
Jack,
with
do you
me
want to
today.
sign us off?
I'll sign us off, and I'll just tell you this: we will see you guys next time for the next episode, and hopefully for the specials coming up. And yeah, we'll see you around.
All right.
Toodaloo, my
Okay,
fellas.
Thank you. Bye.